Hey guys, what's up? Game Pizza Boy here, host of the Pizza Party. Hope you're all doing great today. And in today's video, I'm back from some more news on Dead by Daylight. So I thought about going through this 6.510 patch notes. So that was just released yesterday. So I thought about going through and kind of give you guys a discussion about it and give my thoughts on it. I won't be going through everything, mostly just the main stuff, including some also small bits and pieces that I got excited about it and kind of get my thoughts on it. So if you want to see the rest of it, the patch notes will be in the link in the description below, so you can go click on it as well. I will also be later on hopefully uploading another news video for Overwatch 2, so keep an eye out for it. You should expect to see some more stuff of that later on. Now, without further ado, let's begin and discuss what Dead by Daylight's got right now for this 6.5.0 patch notes and update. Alright, so first just want to mention real quick the cool new skins they added for Resident Evil into this. They added 3 new skins, one for Ada, which gives her kind of this cool Luna New Year style right here, which I do like. For Jill, they added one, which it gives her a Revelations gear, which is probably based around, obviously, Resident Evil Revelations. So if you play that game, you probably know what I'm talking about. And also, they added a really cool legendary skin for the Blight, which will make him turn into Dr. William Birkin from Resident Evil 2. So that's pretty cool. I like the eye they have right there. It's so pretty detailed. I've been seeing some gameplay of it. He does have voice lines as well too, so it's pretty neat to see him in action. So definitely go get your hands on Birkin if you want to. I highly recommend it. I have to get the skin myself someday, so definitely it's gonna be pretty exciting to see people go around trying to skin out playing as the Blight. So look forward to it, guys. Looking forward to see what you guys think about the cool skin. I do like it. I very like it indeed. Moving on now to the main content is first the event. They are returning back with another Lunar New Year event, the Moonlight Burrow. Same thing applies right there. Some challenges for the event, as well as the red emblems returning back once again to get yourself more blood points. And also there's some cosmetics you can get your hands on as well. So go crazy with this event and try to get them as much as you can. The next tome, Tome 14 Betrayal, its first level now opens just today already. It's already now available, so definitely go crazy and get that stuff, get the blood points, get some charms, get some cosmetics, go crazy with that, and grab them because there's some cool skins, including some for the Knight, Vittorio, and even also, I think, Claudette, I think was mentioned it. So let's see you guys go crazy for that. They also include some archive challenges as well, mentioning of it, some changes to it to make things a little bit easily, I believe, for some challenges. One is Dark Triumph Killer Challenge, which now they made it now for the Executioner, obviously Pyramid Head. Now survivors who die inside the Cage of Atonement now count towards this more. The Terrified Killer Challenge, now as a Trickster, survivors hit by Showstopper Blades will no longer award progress, so you have to rely on probably getting up close and personal. Don't use too much of his Showstopper Blades for that. Near Miss Survivor Challenge, which if you dodge any basic attacks from the Oni in the Ghost Space while crouched, now reward bonus. So now basically anytime you dodge attacks from the Oni and even also dodge from Ghost Space when he's crouching especially, you will still get progress from avoiding that as well. And the Engineers Guild Survivor Challenge, progress is now cumulative and no longer resets when the co-op action is interrupted. So you'll be able to still get this challenge very much easily and won't have an issue if someone ends up the action gets interrupted or something like that. So you should have no issue with it whatsoever and keeping track of those challenges with ease. So far to me, I think definitely hopefully these events will be fun. So definitely go crazy and try to get those blood points, cosmetics, stuff like that. And good luck to you, my friends. Get your survivors and killers leveled up. Now moving on to is some of the quality of life changes. There's a couple of stuff that's already been mentioned before, but some of them probably has changed a bit since the PTB. So let's kind of go over it and I'll give my thoughts on it. First, it's the Survivor Activity HUD, which is something I've been excited for the most. So now whenever you're on the Survivor side, you will see what your other fellow survivors are doing. These activities include like repairing a generator, being chased by the killer, healing, recovering from a dying state, dealing with a certain killer-related power thing, or interact with the killer's power, opening exit gate, or getting picked up by the killer, etc., etc. So you'll now have a better chance to understand exactly what's going on, so you can figure out plan yourself, or if your teammates are going to do something. So this is pretty cool. I'm glad for this, at least, especially for the killer side, which will be able to see who they're chasing. So you'll see the claw marks on the survivor more easily besides the obsession. and you'll have a better chance to kind of get a good idea of where they are, or where you're going for chasing them, and know who you're chasing with, pretty much. The Merciless Killer also now will be earned. The rating will be earned now from just getting all 4 survivors killed, rather than the previous requirement of a double pip. So instead of just getting the double pip, you just need to get 4 kills straight up just to get the Merciless Killer rating, which I think is pretty good. I think it's a good idea. Kind of gives a good reason for that ad, just get a full, really good rank like that, and try to really push yourself to really get in there and get all those kills, especially when trying to get the Adept achievements. So go crazy on that, guys. Go crazy. The queuing experience also now makes it a little more easier now. Of course, when you focus on your archive and daily rituals and browsing the store while you're still queuing for the match. They also added that if you are mid-purchasing something like a skin when the lobby is ready, the game will wait until the conclusion of the transaction, so you'll have a little time to hold up when you're trying to buy something like a cool skin for one of your favorite killers, survivors, or trying to buy someone else in general. Just be mindful though that if you delay too long for it, you will be kicked. So from the match. So be mindful, be very mindful. Also, when queuing, the killers can browse up their other stuff, killers, loadouts, customizations. But this will not affect the currently queue player, of course, who remains beside the looking for match message, of course. And they do mention that the cinematics viewing will be disabled when queuing for a match or whenever in a party, as to prevent a potential of disconnecting during that such. So you'll have a little bit chance to still get into the match with these, and you won't have to deal with, obviously, the worrisome of basically disconnecting during those cinematics, of course, which probably has happened from time to time from other people. They also did some to the wiggling, which obviously is the cool ping pong skills check system they added in a beta. It's no longer going to be beta anymore. It will now be a full standard one for all players, instead of just the mashing left-right inputs. They also received some feedback, which will help affect the wiggling in general. First is for controller players, which input handling has been improved. So this will allow killers to respond to wiggling more efficiently while carrying survivors, especially. Survivors will no longer need to shorten carry time by hitting great skill checks. Instead, now great skill checks will now be used to increase resistance for the killer. So it will make the wiggling a little bit more challenging for the killer. And the size of those great skill check zone has been slightly increased, so it will make it a little easier to hit those great skill checks. And they updated the wiggling sound effect, so it improves for improved feedback, so it doesn't sound like pretty bad or annoying sounds, obviously. I'm pretty happy content with so far the wiggling so far right now, although the change up to the great skill checks shortening carry time to wiggle yourself out to now just giving more wiggling to make it easier for so you can push the killer a little bit more left and right a little more easily, just kind of keep them off balance a bit. I'm not so sure how that feels, because I've done a little bit of testing during the PTB before, as well as I've seen people try and test it out with some perks like Iron Grasp and stuff like that. And obviously, sometimes survivors still eventually find a way to wiggle through this, but they still, killer still finds a way to kind of get through it much easily. So I don't know how this will affect more to get past the wiggling situation and still be able to hook a survivor. That is something I don't know how much it's going to be. So let's just wait and see. If I now, I'll definitely hear some thoughts on the idea of these about now great skill checks just giving you more better wiggling to knock around the killer a bit, rather than just simply getting yourself wiggled out of the carry much easily. So we'll wait and see what happens next. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. Moving on next now is the balance changes. There's a couple of things to talk about for the Knight and the nerfs, so let's get to it. First, we'll start off is with the Knight. So the Knight has a couple of things that will be discussed after the PTB, and this is what they're doing with him. First is that while the power is being used, the Knight will now force out the guard summon mode after 10 seconds when using it. So basically, you will be forced out of it after 10 seconds once you start using his power. This, I believe, remember, is to prevent usually campers and stuff like that from abusing it, since usually when you go into this phase, you'd be completely undetectable, so no one can hear your terror radius. So this kind of been very used for a lot of campers, a lot for hook campers, stuff like that. So this will kind of prevent that very easily, and they cannot at all no longer hold on to that for a very long time. Next is when tracing the patrol path, the Knight's orb will shrink with distance traveled and disappears completely after 10 meters. So after 10 meters or so, you will see the orb will basically start disappearing, and so is the noise, stuff like that. So that means it will make it very sneaky for the killer or like the knight to basically kind of sneak up on a survivor without them realizing. Even if the power is close to them, they will not catch it very easily. They will have a very hard chance to realize it before it's too late, before they summon the guard or they start using an action like a gen or something like that. So that's pretty cool to see where that kind of goes for. Also, when this is being created at a certain amount of range longer than 10 meters, this will give some certain special effects. First is for the knight, which will gain the after 10 meters will gain him the haste status effect. So you will get a little haste status effect to kind of speed yourself up a little bit once after coming out of your power phase, and it will last long depending on the length of the path. The beginning of it will just last 2 seconds, and it will increase to about 10 seconds if you reach the maximum distance it could reach, which is 32 meters. So it will last that long. It was originally 6 seconds during the PTB, so it got like quite of a 4-second buff right there. When a guard detects a survivor, as well, when this happens over 10 meters, the time it takes for the guard to reach the survivor now has been decreased. So it will increase its speed completely. It will be its normal default at 10% of the speed, and it will go up to the maximum of 25% if you also reach 32 meters. So this will make your knight pretty quick. So imagine like seeing like even like one of the tough ones, like the normal the guard, like the big guard basically. Since he's usually the slowest, I can imagine him basically speeding up a little bit more right there, and having something like the assassin being good for those increased speeds, and he'll be quick enough to basically take out the survivor for sure indeed. Also, as well, when using a guard to damage a generator, you will get a 5% loss of progress to the generator when regressing it with a guard, which was previously about 2.5%, so they gave a nice slight buff pretty much. Just remember though, gen perks don't work on the guards, so don't use your guards if you have any gen perks. Make sure you keep them away from that as much as possible if you have any generate perks like, you know, Jolt or Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, or Populous Weasel, or Eruption, you know, those perks. Also, the add-on updates I mentioned about the Healing Poultice add-on that will usually reveal the aura of survivors for 3 seconds when they're within 24 meters after summoning the assassin, has went up by 2 seconds. So it gave like an extra 5 seconds. It now has 5 seconds, so it gets like a little buff from it, probably from that. So that's pretty cool right there. Moving on next is the nurse. The nurse has a lot of big changes, of course. The first one that obviously everyone knows is that now the blink attacks are no longer basic attacks. So you will just count as like a special attack when going through your blinking power, and it will no longer take effect, especially for those certain perks that involve basic attacks, including like exposed status effect perks or anything that involves like save the best for last, you know, those perks. So they will not take effect when using your blink attacks. Add-ons also have been pretty much changed for this as well. Mentioning as well, they did adjust some, planning to adjust the following of the Spasmodic Breath add-on, which will probably be improved feedback later on. And they also plan to add an audio cue that I remember them mentioning for the blink to help better indicate when the blink charges are full. So I guess they have yet to get around to that very soon. Or they're planning to adjust that a little bit more, so they're probably going to keep us updated when something improves upon it, or maybe something needs to be adjusted. So keep an eye out for that as well, for both the Spasmodic Breath add-on and of course how Blink gives an audio cue for when it's fully recharged. So keep an eye out for that. For the add-ons completely that are getting really changed from this goes the following: Catatonic Voice Treasure, which reduces extra fatigue from chain blinks by 65%, which was originally 100%. Dark Cincture increases movement speed after blink, but before the falling fatigue by 30%. Heavy Panting extends the duration of a lunge by 30% after more than one blink. Ataxic Respiration reduces the blink fatigue base duration by 7%, which was originally 12%. Fragile Wheeze. Blink attacks now inflict the Bangle status effect. Campbell's Last Breath. After reappearing from a fully charged blink, the nurse immediately blinks again at full charge in the direction she is currently facing. This only works if the nurse has a remaining blink charge, which was originally half-charge blink. Badman's Last Breath. Hitting the survivor with a successful blink attack grants the undetectable status effect for 25 seconds, up from 16. This effect may only be triggered once every 45 seconds, down from 60. Kavanaugh's Last Breath. When succumbing to fatigue, any survivors within 8 meters of the nurse are afflicted with the blindness status effect for 60 seconds. Jenner's last breath. Once the nurse has exhausted all her blinks, the nurse can immediately blink back to her original position by pressing the active ability button. You must trigger it before the nurse succumbs to fatigue, however. After returning to her own original position, 1 blink charge is then restored, added restoration of 1 blink charge. This is a change from the PTB where all charges were restored. So you just get back 1 blink charge instead of just all blink charges. Tom Bookmark adds 1 blink charge and increases the blink recharge time by 30%, which was from 50% before. And Matchbox, which sets a maximum number of blink charges to just 1, and increases the nurse's base movement speed to 4.4 meters per second, which was originally from 4.2 meters per second. It will also no longer allow other add-ons to increase blink charge. So if you combine Matchbox with any other increased blink charges, of course, add-ons, you will not increase it any further. It will stay stuck to 1. Let me know what you guys think about these add-ons. I'm quite interested to see how the add-ons play out, including like Catatonic Boy's Treasure, or even the Covenant's Last Breath, or Batman's Last Breath. That'd be pretty interesting, including also how it plays out with Matchbox, since you can't even use any other blink charge increase add-ons with it. So we'll see what happens. I'm definitely intrigued. Moving on next, finally, is the Eyrie of Crows map, now getting, of course, the rework. As we know, they got some quite good changes. I actually haven't personally got a chance to play the Eyrie Crows map yet in its update form, so let me know what you guys think. If you gotta try, I gotta get around to it. But just so anyone does not know what changes are, it goes by the following. The map's link has now been shortened, so it makes it a little more smaller, so you can get around more easily. Generators are more evenly distributed, so it makes it easier for generators to kind of get around to very easily for both the killer to kind of go suppress and regress the progression, and also for survivors just to get around to get that progression going. The main building has now been moved toward the map's edge, so now at the map's edge, now the main building will be located there this time. I guess just to make it a little more kind of hard to kind of get around places a little more easily and kind of get a good soft ground to it, because I know it being in the middle of the map, it was so easy for survivors to kind of get around to very easily and just kind of vault area and kind of get good training going. But with this now, I think it makes it a little more challenging. The strength of certain main building loops now have been decreased, so now some main building loops within it will be more challenging to loop around a little bit more for survivors. So you'll have to kind of figure out other ways to kind of loop around or kind of get around very easily. New tiles have been added. Dead zones have been reduced around the border. The exit gate no longer inadvertently spawns behind the main building, so the exit gate will no longer be just behind the main building. It will probably be somewhere else located in a far off corner, or make it a little more challenging for survivors to kind of get around to, but still easy to manage. Certain rocks will no longer spawn close to hooks, causing collision issues, which I'm actually happy by, because I remember how annoying it was whenever I carried someone wall to a hook and I just felt the collision from the rock, even though I thought it was not even that close sometimes. So this makes it a little more easier to kind of get around very easily. And finally, an alternate generator location has been added to the main building. So it looks like now the generator from the main building will now be in another different location rather than the usual middle area that we're familiar with. So that'll be pretty interesting to see where it will be pretty much for sure. Definitely for sure for me so far with Eyrie of Crows. I have a feeling this will be a pretty fun map, hopefully more better for survivors and killers. So hopefully we'll find some good experience with it. But let me know definitely also in the comments what you guys think about it if you got a chance to try it yourself. I will be giving my personal thoughts so far, but for this now, for reading upon this, I definitely have high hopes that maybe this map will be maybe a nice favorite now for both survivor and killer players. So hopefully you guys will all enjoy it. With that being said, that is everything mainly going on right now. I'll be talking about for the 6.5.0 update. Like I said, there are some bug fixes and patches they did also as well, including in this small minor details to go over to, including also one known issue, which apparently, just to mention, is apparently generator progress is not shown on Survivor HUD activity icons. So I guess probably there is a plan for during the Survivor HUD activity icons to show generator progress. Apparently it's not shown, so I'm pretty sure that will make ability to be seen very easily. So keep an eye out for that when it does hopefully get fixed, so we can see what progress is. That'll be pretty interesting for that reason. Although I wonder how it's going to play out to give maybe better communication, know when which generator is almost done. So pretty interesting to see what happens next. We'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, guys, that is it. Everything to explain for the 6.5.0 patch notes for Dead by Daylight during this mid-chapter. What do you guys think? Again, let me know in the comment section below to tell me your thoughts on everything so far. I will definitely be talking about this in the future streams later on in the future. If you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to help support the pizza party. You can go to my multi-link down below if you want to keep in touch with everything going on throughout my stuff right there for the pizza party, including my Twitch, which I will be live usually on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So, hey, keep an eye out for that, and maybe come spot me if you want to come hang out and enjoy some fun games and chat with me. I'll be happy to have you there anytime. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm your host, Game Pizza Boy, host of the Pizza Party, and I will see you guys next time. Keep on partying.